يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. I praise Allah, then I confer blessings upon the final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My brothers, today's khutbah I'd like to touch upon the importance of this hadith that I came across in the Sunan of Tirmidhi. And it's the only one hadith that between Imam al-Tirmidhi and the Prophet ﷺ there are only 3 narrators. Like Imam al-Bukhari has 22 of them. But Imam al-Tirmidhi has only one. We call this the highest chain, Sanad Ali. And this hadith, as important it is in terms of its chain of narration, it's also very, very important in terms of its meaning. And it's narrated by Anas radiallahu anhu that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, يَأْتِي عَلَى النَّاسِ زَمَانٌ. Will come a time upon people, الصَّابِرُ فِيهِمْ عَلَى دِينِهِ كَالْقَابِضِ عَلَى الْجَمْرِ. That the one who is trying to be patient upon his deen is like holding on to hot coal. Will come a time where people will try to practice their deen and be patient upon the problems around that are happening. Yeah, it will be like holding on to that hot. He can't. Another hadith that begins with the same wording, يأتي على الناس zaman, is that people will run away from the crowds, run away from the dunya. They will be hiding where the mawaqi' al-qatar, or where the rain falls, up in the mountains with their flock of sheep. يفروا a person will يفروا من الفتن أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. A person will stay away or run away from the fitna and the trials and tribulations to save his deen. And that's the message today in this khutbah bi'idhnillah al-azim, which is to save your deen, to save our deen. Where are our hearts? Where are we today? With all that's going on in the world, and you all know, I don't need to mention it. It's not needed to mention because we know it. But the unfortunate thing is we get to know about all of these fitan and we start to think about our deen when the blood is shed in the ummah. Yeah? When things happen, when they are bombing Palestine and they're doing all what's happening in Palestine, for example, this is the time when we start to think and we start to wake up, say, oh yes, there is Palestine, oh yes, oh yeah. Oh, what's the hadith about it, Sheikh? We start to, it's well late into the game, yeah, as you say. And this is why I'd like to also mention the importance of, as the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. You take opportunity of 5 before 5. Among them is your youth, before you come to old age. Among them is your free time, before you become occupied. None of us over here can say that we are so busy 24/7, we have no time to learn our deen. Impossible. I challenge you, trust me. I guarantee you there's time. Even if you spend the 7-10 minutes before you go to sleep in reading some hadith, in reading some Quran. Listen to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in Sahih al-Bukhari, in the book of Fitnah, Kitab al-Fitnah. Read it. Everyone read it today. In English, read it in English, read it in your language. Just read it. The Prophet ﷺ spoke about, and he said, the hadith of Abu Musa radiallahu anhu, which is Sahih, it's Bukhari, Sahih al-Bukhari. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, you know, كما قال, he said, the hadith of Abu Musa, إِنَّ بَيْنَ يَدَيِ السَّاعَةِ لَأَيَّامٍ. Between the hour, you know, the time of the meaning is the hour to be established, there are just days. But in these days, what's going to happen is يَنزِلْ عَلَيْكُمْ الْجَهْلِ. Ignorance is going to come, وَيُرْفَعَ الْعِلْمِ. And knowledge is going to be lifted. And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَيَكْثُرُ الْهَرْجِ. And harj will carry on, a lot of it will increase. And the Prophet ﷺ was asked about this. And he said, Al-qatl, al-qatl, bilisani al-habash. He said, killing and killing, this is the meaning. But before that he mentioned is knowledge being lifted. Knowledge being lifted. Knowledge being taken away. And everybody speaks and debates about, is it important for us to read hadith? Why do we need to do that, ya Shaykh? Why can we not just pray salah, do our work, feed our family, go sleep and pray salah if we feel like it, and that's it? Yeah? Because knowledge is that which leads you to goodness, which leads you to know about what is compulsory. What are your rights? To the extent the Prophet ﷺ, once he goes, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْجُلُوسِ فِي الطُّرُقَاتِ. Hadith al-Bukhari. He goes, you know, beware of sitting in the pathway of the people. You know, to that extent, don't waste your time. One of the mashayikh, he gave a khutbah on time, and he mentioned this hadith specifically. He goes, even this, sometimes, you know, we stand outside, we're chit-chatting, we're talking, we're wasting our time. Unless you give the haqq of the people. And the Prophet ﷺ was asked, Ya Rasul, what is the haqq? Because sometimes we are outside, we are speaking to people. We are speaking to individuals, and we're having our little socializing. And the Prophet ﷺ, then he goes, غَضَّ الْبَصَرِ, to lower your gaze. These etiquettes and manners, I have noticed, when we see some Muslims, they've lost it completely. Lowering our gaze is something secondary. It's something that's like, yeah, but you know, we're living in a different time. These are the arguments that are put to us. What was good then is good today. What was bad then is bad today. Take this as a rule, a qa'idah, an established rule in our sharia. Understand this, my respected elderly, my brothers, my youngsters. Understand this very importantly. The Prophet ﷺ said, غَضُّ الْبَصَرِ وَكَفُّ الْأَذَى. And not causing harm. Yeah? Not causing harm to individuals and people. Not backbiting. Yeah? Not doing this, not doing that. Not speaking about fulan and this individual. Talk about the dhikr of Allah, talk about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. When was the last time we ever gathered for, come on, let's just sit down and we just talk about hadith, and we eat some food, and we have some entertainment, and we, you know, chill out, whatever it is. Where is that? Beautiful ilm. Knowledge is being vanished. And then what's happening at that time is fasad and corruption is taking place. As for those who say, what's the point? Because you know, things are happening, very, very bad things are happening. Why do we need to seek them? Because through knowledge we know what's the huquq of others, of the rights of others. And if we had knowledge today, a lot would not have happened. Wallahi. But because we stayed away from the ulama, the scholars, and the ilm. The ilm is that which leads you to the right path. The Prophet ﷺ clearly said, the one who treads on that path of knowledge, he treads on that path of knowledge. سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ لَهُ بِهِ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. Allah will make his pathway to Jannah easy. What does this even mean? Look beyond what I'm talking about. Look beyond just the wording of the hadith. Understand. That's everything. That's the reason why you come here today. That's the reason I came here today to give the khutbah. That's the reason why you came to listen to the khutbah. That's the reason why we are praying salah together. We want Jannah. You ask a child today, what's your goal? My goal is Jannah. I want to be in paradise. Everyone knows this. It's basic. But how to get to that is to struggle, is to make effort, is to read the hadith of Rasulullah. Yeah? This is very, very important. We must remind ourselves again and again. وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind, for verily the reminder benefits the believers. Ya ikhwani, let us remind ourselves again and again. And the Prophet ﷺ said, نِعْمَتَانْ مَغْبُونَ فِيهِمَا كَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ الصِّحَّةُ وَالْفَرَاغُ. Two blessings which are belittled, not in one or two people, kathir, most of the people, they belittle this blessing, these blessings, and they are health and free time. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to make it easy upon us to be upon al-ilm, ala al-basira, upon vision, upon the Quran and the Sunnah and the Daleel and the kalam of the scholars of the past, and that we implement it, and we don't do jidal and argue against the scholars of Islam. We are among those who hold on to the Quran and the Sunnah. May Allah make it easy for you all. May Allah Ta'ala make all of our affairs easy. أقول ما تسمعون هذا واستغفر الله لي ولسائر المسلمين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam, amma ba'du. And speaking of opportunity and making time and using the blessings of Allah that Allah has given me and you, because yesterday I heard of my teacher who taught me specifically in his very home, a Sheikh Dr. Fahad Sabri, passed away, rahimahullah ta'ala. He is that Sheikh, by the way, if you don't know, who compiled the famous Medina books, 1, 2 and 3, and the other curriculums related. And his books, subhanallah, reached more than 1 million people today, I would say. Even they said thousands and thousands. I disagree, because I think that curriculum was started about 30 something years back. And subhanallah, the students, there were thousands of students every year in Medina University, and they all had to study that curriculum. Imagine this, a non-Arab Indian, originally from India, and he established this Arabic curriculum, and he took it from all the books, from Sibawayh, from all the other scholars of Al-Islam in the Arabic language, and he compiled this curriculum لِغَيْرِ النَّاطِقِينَ بِهَا, for those who don't speak Arabic, and he made it easy for them. And subhanallah, today he's passed away. Just a few weeks ago I started teaching that book in one of the masjids. So this Sunday I'm still teaching that book, inshallah. Subhanallah, look at that. And not only me, forget me, I am out of the picture. Millions, thousands are still teaching and learning that kitab. For that kitab, Allah al-Musta'an, like Bukhari, Muslim, Ibn Majah, Abi Dawood, Tabarani, all those big books of hadith today has been accepted, and people are studying it and reading it, and but subhanallah, he didn't waste his time, and he made efforts. And I remember when I went to him, I said to him, Sheikh, I want you to teach me to teach this book, because I know if I said to him, I just want to read something to you, he would have probably said no. But when he said that I had the eager to teach this book in UK, he gave me that specific time. rahimahullah ta'ala. But the main lesson here is, what am I and what are you doing? What legacy are we leaving behind? That's my question. Because the Shaykh thought very well, and living in Saudi Arabia, but he thought of the people in England, in America, in the West, the English speaking students. He thought for them more than he thought for the students who speak Arabic. Although that book is in Arabic and is taught in Arabic as well. But the point is, what am I doing? What are you doing? What are we doing together as a collective thing? And this is very important, to go back to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when I said, take 5 before 5. And you will not believe this. Just 2 days ago, I wrote a short curriculum that I wanted the Shaykh to look over and write a preface, subhanallah. So even me, I'm a victim of this. That, why are we all wasting time? Why am I wasting time more than anyone? Why didn't I do it just before? We want to go out to eat, mashallah, we're there. We want to go out to chill out, we're there. Yeah? So my brothers, just like this, think about the legacy you can leave behind. During this time of fitnah, the time of fasad, it's a wake-up call for all the Muslims to wake up and preserve your deen. Before that time comes, it will be very difficult. Specifically, we live in the West, as you know. We live in the West. Yeah? It can become even more difficult. And as years are going by, as time is going by, it's getting difficult. You know this for sure. So preserve your deen. Preserve your deen. And sincerely, my respected brothers, make lots and lots of dua for our brothers, our sisters in Palestine. Sincerely. And forget about this being a khutbah, this being a normal reminder. I mean seriously. Make sincere dua for them. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy. And Allah Jalla wa ala protects them from every shar and evil and fasad. You know what's happening over there? Nobody can understand it here. None of us can understand it, really. Even me. Unless you're a victim yourself and you see what's really happening, is when you can understand. They say, the qadr, when my father rahimahullah was passing away, at that time, when you tell people, my father passed, this happened, they say, oh, may Allah forgive him, that's it. Which is good. They walk on, but they don't know. They don't know the feeling of seeing your own beloved in front of you, and his eyes shutting down, and then his eyes frozen. It's no longer, the ruh is no longer here. It's gone. You didn't even know it's gone. It's like, and you've seen that for your own eyes. It's a different situation. So the point I'm making is, for our brothers and sisters, rethink your attitude. Rethink your attitude for the Muslims. Be with the Muslims. The Jama'ah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Yadullahi fil Jama'ah. What does this even mean? People don't even think about. We said it in so many khutbahs, come akhi, for Jama'ah, Salatul Jama'ah. أفضل من صلاة الفذ ب27 درجة. The hadith. It's 27 times. What is Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saying here? From a tarbiyah perspective. From a complete upbringing perspective. From a nurturing perspective. What does this mean? What does 27 mean? Yeah, it's not the number. It's the fadl. It's the unity. It's the togetherness. We have Muslims fighting each other because one does rafu'ul yadayn, one follows the sunnah of Rasulullah. One is fighting because one wipes over their socks, which is the sunnah of Rasulullah. Proven in the hadith of Al-Mughir ibn Shu'bah, which is sahih. The socks we're talking about. And then other ahadith, so many. And we are fighting and fighting and fighting, whilst the kuffar, whilst the non-Muslims have attacked Palestine again and again and again. Should I keep saying again? Because that's the reality. It goes again and again and again and again and again. And only then we realize, Shaykh, let's make dua in qunut. Let's make dua for the Muslims. But where were we well before that? So anyway, my point here, for us here in London and where we are, is dua, 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 and sadaqah, and charity, and da'am, and whatever you possibly can. But as I said to you about my teacher, Dr. Fahad Sabri, rahimahullah, think 50 years later. What legacy can I and you leave behind today that 50 years later when our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, maybe great-great, whoever, they can benefit from and they can be preserved upon the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to cure the Muslims wherever they are, and specifically in Palestine. Allahumma izza Palestine ya Rabbal Alameen. اللهم انصرهم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم يسر أحوالهم وبدل أحوالهم من الخوف إلى الأمن يا رب العالمين. اللهم احفظهم. اللهم يسر أحوالهم.